Cattleman Revolver. This is the gun almost every one of you guys would have used somehow in-game, probably in the start. Apart from the free ones you pick up during story missions, this is basically the cheapest gun you can buy in the entire game. 50 bucks. That's it. A whole revolver for the price of Timothy A. Donahue's book, which literally had no value in-game. Regarding damage-wise, it's not too good. In-game, it's sitting at only 1.7. That basically means you can empty 3, maybe 4 shots into some half-drunk NPC, and he's still standing there like, was that supposed to hurt? Unless you go for the head, of course. Then suddenly he's remembering his grandma real quick. The fire rate's solid, accuracy's not bad, and it just feels classic. You can fan the hammer, make it look like you know what you're doing, and honestly, it gets the job done most of the time. Plus, it's always around. Buy another one at the gunsmith, or just loot it off the unlucky cowboy who didn't duck fast enough. Cheap, reliable, and stubborn. Kind of like Arthur's horse when it refuses to move out of the mud.
Double-action revolver. This revolver makes you feel like you've suddenly developed octopus hands. The double-action revolver doesn't mess around with that whole cock the hammer, line up your shot thing. You just keep pulling the trigger and it spits out lead like it's late for work. Damage though? Only 1.5. Which basically means good luck trying to drop anyone in 1 or 2 shots. You'll be pumping 3, 4 bullets into a random rancher before he finally realizes, oh, I've been shot. Where it really shines is on horseback. The fire rate's insane, 3.2. So while your aim's bouncing all over the place, you're still peppering enemies like a malfunctioning popcorn machine. You can buy one from the gunsmith starting Chapter 3, or just steal it from Lonnie's shack during Sean's homestead robbery mission. At 65 bucks, it's the perfect gun for anyone whose idea of aiming is just holding down the trigger and praying.
Varmint Rifle. This right here is the Varmint Rifle. If you've ever dreamed of becoming the ultimate squirrel hunter, well, here's your chance. 72 bucks gets you this thing. Or if you bought the special or ultimate edition, Rockstar just threw it in for free. Now, the damage? Only 1.6. Which basically means if you point this at a grizzly bear, you're really just annoying it. Hope you can run faster than it does. This rifle packs a 14-round magazine. That's 14 tiny bullets flying out with a quick fire rate, perfect for spraying down groups of enemies. It's less deadly outlaw and more death by mosquito bites. Technically, it's built for small critters and birds. Realistically, you'll use it once on a rabbit, then spend the rest of the game unloading it into rival gang members because you're out of shotgun shells. Cheap, reliable, and funny as hell. Just don't expect anyone to take you seriously while you're holding it.
Schofield Revolver. Now this is where you stop playing around and actually feel like a gunslinger. The Schofield Revolver hits harder than the cheap stuff. Damage? 1.9. Which means if the Cattleman felt like slapping someone with a wet noodle, this one feels more like a proper punch to the jaw. It's accurate too. Not the fastest when it comes to firing or reloading, but when your shots land, they actually matter. And if you dual wield these bad boys, maybe people start taking you seriously real quick. Ammo capacity is the usual 6 rounds, but you can load it up with all the fun stuff. High velocity, express, even explosive rounds if you're feeling spicy. Apart from buying it, you can also get it for free. You can pick it up in a Valentine doctor's office side business, loot it off O'Driscoll's beating a poor guy behind the gallows, or even snag one from drunk duelers stumbling around town. Basically, if chaos is happening, there's a Schofield nearby waiting for you. At 84 bucks, it's pricier than the starter guns, but absolutely worth it. Think of it as the I've graduated from rookie outlaw to professional troublemaker upgrade. Sawed-off shotgun. The sawed-off shotgun. This little beast doesn't care about accuracy at all. Damage though, 2.8, and up close it can crank up to 3.6, which basically means if someone's in your personal space, congratulations, they don't exist anymore. Only holds 2 rounds, but honestly, you won't need more than that if you're shoving it in someone's ribs. And yes, you can dual wield them. 2 sawed-offs in hand makes you look less like an outlaw and more like you're auditioning for the role of walking apocalypse. It comes early too. Javier literally hands you one during Enter Pursued by a Memory. Want a second? Just cough up 85 bucks at the gunsmith. Or, better yet, start a bar fight in Keen's saloon, steal the bartender's shotgun after he tries to murder you for touching his gin. Because nothing says customer service like buckshot. Ammo? You've got choices.
Regular buckshot, incendiary, slug, explosive slug. It's basically a menu of chaos. Cheap, deadly, and about as subtle as a cannonball through a church window.
Carbine Repeater. The Carbine Repeater is that one friend who's not amazing at anything, but somehow good enough at everything. $90 gets you this rifle. Or you can just wait. Arthur gets one for free during Old Friends. Either way, you're going to end up using this thing a lot. Damage sits at 2.4, which doesn't sound crazy, but 2 shots to the body and most enemies are already making funeral plans. It's got 7 rounds in the tube magazine, and the reload is one of the fastest in the whole game. Seriously, Arthur slaps shells in this thing like he's late for supper. Way faster than the Lancaster, even if the capacity is smaller. And you can tweak it also, like throw on a scope for long shots, or keep it iron-sighted for close to medium fights. Versatile, balanced, and way more reliable than some of the flashier rifles. The fire rate isn't the best, but it doesn't matter. This repeater is basically the definition of solid choice. High Roller Double Action Revolver. The High Roller Double Action is basically the fancy cousin of the regular double action. Same 1.5 damage, same 3.2 fire rate, same 6 rounds. But it's got pearl grips and engravings all over it. So why Rockstar need to include the same gun with just little tweaks? Well, I think it's not about the performance. It's about flexing on your enemies while missing half your shots. You can dual wield these, and when you do, you will want to rob a train anyhow. It's locked behind a fine night of debauchery, which feels fitting. After all, nothing screams bad decisions in a tuxedo like this revolver. $90 at the fence, and it's yours.
Double-barreled shotgun. The double-barreled shotgun turns anything standing in front of you into red mist. Damage? 2.8, and close range can feel like instant delete mode. You can fire both barrels in quick succession too, which is basically the game's version of a mic drop. It's not subtle and accurate, but subtlety doesn't matter when your target is part of the wallpaper after you shot him. You can grab one for $95 at any gunsmith, or pick it up free at the end of paying a social call. There's also one lying around Catfish Jackson's, and even the Hermit Woman has one if you're brave enough to go after her. With explosive ammo, this shotgun is pure chaos.
Springfield Rifle. The Springfield Rifle is the slow, grumpy old man of RDR2's arsenal. It's single shot only. So yeah, every time you fire, you're basically taking a smoke break while Arthur reloads. But the payoff? 3.2 damage, and with express ammo, it can hit up to 4.0. One clean shot to the body, and most enemies are already halfway through meeting their maker. Accuracy is top-notch too. This rifle loves medium to long range. Great for hunting big animals or dropping O'Driscolls before they even know you're there. But again, don't expect it to save you in close quarters though. If you miss that one bullet, you're in trouble. Apart from spending $120 on it, you can also get it free during Sodom. Back to Gomorrah.
Lancaster Repeater. At $135, it's not the cheapest repeater, but it's balanced, reliable, and makes you feel like the John Wick of the Wild West. Damage-wise, it's only 2.2, but it fires fast, reloads slick, and the accuracy is tight enough to make even Arthur look like he's been practicing. You get 14 rounds in the tube, and with lever action speed, you can keep enemies pinned down without breaking a sweat. It's like death by 1,000 lever pulls. Micah actually hands you one in an American pastoral scene, but you can also just pick one up at any gunsmith. Or, if you're good at being sneaky, rob the Rhodes gunsmith basement and grab the one stashed down there. Just ignore the kidnapped guy chained up.
Evans Repeater. This is the Evans Repeater, otherwise known as the Cowboy Machine Gun. Why? Because it packs a ridiculous 26-round capacity. That's right, you can basically unload half the ammo in your satchel without ever reloading. Damage is only 2.0, but who cares when you're spamming bullets like it's an early access beta? Fire rate's high, range is solid, and accuracy? Pretty sharp too. By the time your enemy realizes what's happening, you've already turned them into Swiss cheese. It's especially great for those moments where subtlety goes out the window, and you just want to drown someone in lead. You unlock it after American Distillation in Chapter 3, and from then on, it's for sale at every gunsmith. Plus, you can trick it out with stocks, wraps, and sights, because nothing is more satisfying than decorating the gun you just emptied into 30 O'Driscolls. Litchfield Repeater. The Litchfield Repeater is the heavy hitter of the repeater family. Damage, A chunky 2.8, the highest of the lot. It doesn't care about your feelings, it just wants to ruin your opponent's day in medium-range combat. The catch? It reloads slow, and the accuracy dips if you're moving around like a lunatic. But when you plant your boots and fire, this thing clears rooms. You've got 16 rounds to work with, which is plenty to make an impression. And if you're hunting, the Litchfield will drop most animals faster than you can say gator stew. Price tag is $145, but you can also snag it for free during Mrs. Sadie Adler Widow 2, which feels fitting, because this gun is basically widow-making in rifle form. It's not as graceful as the Lancaster, not as spammy as the Evans, but when you want raw stopping power, the Litchfield delivers. Loud, heavy, deadly. Pump-action shotgun. The pump-action shotgun is basically a close-range problem solver in RDR2 as well as in real life. Damage sits at 2.5, but when you're blasting someone point-blank, numbers don't really matter. It's 5 rounds of pure goodbye, sir. Reload is quick, and the pump action just feels mean, like Arthur's way of saying, I told you not to stand there. Accuracy isn't amazing, but if you're trying to snipe with a shotgun, you're already doing something wrong. You can buy it after pouring forth oil, or get one free at Shea Porter. Just climb up to the master bedroom and help yourself. And if you bought the Special or Ultimate Edition, you get it free from any gunsmith after Chapter 1. Volcanic Pistol. Volcanic Pistol. Cool name, slow gun. It's got 2.2 damage, and with express rounds, it can push to 3.2. Basically, it hits like a repeater in pistol form. Sounds awesome, but it's not. And let me tell you why. Once you fire it and reload it, you can grow a beard while waiting for Arthur to finish. The fire rate is painfully slow. So if you miss, well, congratulations. You just gave your enemy a chance to rethink his entire life and still shoot you first. Ammo capacity is 8 rounds, and accuracy is actually pretty solid. So when it hits, it hurts. The trick is making sure you don't miss that first shot. Available from any gunsmith after Eastward Bound, or free if you bought the fancy editions. So yeah, it's a pricey little pistol at $150. A stylish gun, but definitely not one you can rely on.
LeMat Revolver. LeMat Revolver is the most expensive revolver in the game, and with specification Rockstar had given it, it earns that price tag. This thing does 3 damage with standard ammo, and it can push even higher with express rounds. That's revolver damage creeping into rifle territory. It's like Rockstar looked at the Schofield and said, nah, make it ridiculous. The ammo capacity is 9 rounds, which already gives it an edge. And in case you haven't noticed, there's a hidden shotgun barrel under the main one. So mid-fight, you can literally switch from revolver to boomstick and blast someone into next week. Only 1 shell, but trust me, it makes an impression. The downsides? It's slow. Like, really slow. Firing rate is sluggish, and reload is worse. Arthur takes so long reloading this thing, you could probably knit a poncho while you wait. You can buy it in Saint Denis after the Gilded Cage, and once you've got it, you'll never want to let it go. $172, and you're basically holding 2 guns in one. Bolt-action rifle. The bolt-action rifle is the definition of dependable. Damage is 2.9 with accuracy hitting 3.2. It doesn't brag, it just works. You get 5 rounds in the mag, and thanks to the bolt mechanism, Arthur cycles it fast enough to keep multiple targets under control. It's not rapid fire, but it feels satisfying. You first get it during preaching forgiveness as he went. But if you're sneaky, you can actually grab one early in Chapter 2 from a bounty hunter during The First Shall Be Last. There's also a chance to loot it off lawmen in Valentine or Saint Denis, sometimes even during public executions. That's dark, but yes, free rifle. Why not? In real life, bolt actions was literally the backbone of military rifles in the late 1800s and early 1900s, so it makes sense this one feels like it belongs everywhere. Hunting, combat, or just Arthur looking cool on a hillside. At $180, it's a workhorse. Repeating shotgun. Now, this beauty is the repeating shotgun. Basically, it's like the pump action's older, fancier cousin. Damage, 2.5, but up close it spikes to 3.4. The magic here is the lever action system. Same vibe as the repeaters, but now it's buckshot flying out. And with 6 rounds in the tube, you've got way more breathing room before reloads. It can be unlocked after visiting hours, and from then on, it's always available at gunsmiths. John even ends up using one in 1907, during Jim Milton Rides Again.
so clearly it holds up over time. In close quarters fights, this shotgun makes Arthur feel like an unstoppable wall of lead. The reload isn't bad either, and it just has that satisfying clack when you work the lever. It's not subtle, but if you wanted subtle, you wouldn't be using a shotgun. $185 well spent.
Rolling Block Rifle. The Rolling Block Rifle is a monster. Damage, 3.5. Hitting up to 4.0 with express ammo. Accuracy, a clean 3.4. Basically, if you can see it, you can drop it. It's a single-shot sniper, fitted with a scope, and meant for long-distance problem-solving, hunting elk across a valley, taking out enemies before they even know you're there. This rifle is the definition of good night, friend. You'll get one free during the sheep and the goats. Or, if you're a glitch goblin, you can steal Hosea's or Lenny's version in Chapter 2 with some dynamite trickery. Messy, but it works. In real life, rolling blocks were a huge hit in the 19th century because they were simple, durable, and could be chambered in all kinds of calibers. Here in RDR2, it just feels like raw power. Reload is slow, it's one bullet at a time, but when each shot lands like a train, you don't need more. At $187, the rolling block is a long-range king. If you hear a shot from this rifle, you probably won't hear the second one.
Carcano Rifle.
The Carcano Rifle is the real don't even blink kind of gun. Damage sits at 3.1, with accuracy around 3.2. And when you slap that scope on, it's lights out for anything unlucky enough to come into your sights. It holds 6 rounds, which already makes it stand out from the single-shot rolling block. Pair that with fast reload speed and quick bolt action, and you're not just a sniper, you're a long-range machine. You first get it free during The Delights of Van Horn or Goodbye Dear Friend, and after that, every gunsmith is happy to sell you one. Now, there is a little bit of history with this rifle. The Carcano rifle was an Italian design, famous for being simple, reliable, and infamous for being the rifle tied to the JFK assassination decades later. Dark history aside, in RDR2, it's just pure precision. At $190, it's pricey, but worth every cent if you like your enemies never knowing what hit them.
Semi-automatic pistol. The semi-auto pistol is the fastest pistol in the game, hands down. Fire rate, 3.3, the top of the charts. Reload, super quick. Accuracy, surprisingly good. The downside, damage is the lowest of any firearm, 1.2 to 2.2. So yeah, it feels less like Cowboy Revolver and more like a mosquito swarm with bullets. 8 rounds per mag, no need to cock the hammer, just spam and watch NPCs flinch like they're being bitten to death. It unlocks after the Joys of Civilization in Chapter 4, but only at gunsmiths in Valentine and Saint Denis. That's fitting, because this gun feels less Wild West and more city slicker with an attitude. In real life, semi-automatic pistols were the future of sidearms around this era. Lighter, faster, and way easier to use than revolvers. RDR2 nails that vibe perfectly. $210 gets you speed, but not power. Great if you like quantity over quality. Semi-auto shotgun. Now this right here is the semi-auto shotgun, the shotgun equivalent of a caffeinated raccoon. Damage is 2.2, but with that high rate of fire, you'll feel like you're mowing the lawn. Except the lawn is made of O'Driscolls. 5-round mag, quick reloads, and the best part? Unlike other shotguns, Deadeye doesn't force Arthur to recock between shots. You just point, click, and it's chaos on repeat. You can buy it after a fine night of debauchery, or steal one free at Watson's Cabin if you don't mind raiding basements. In real life, semi-auto shotguns were a big leap forward, designed for hunters and soldiers who wanted power and speed. RDR2 captures that perfectly. It's smoother, faster, and deadlier than the pump or repeater. At $225, it's expensive, but once you try it, you'll understand why Arthur suddenly walks into fights like he's Doom Guy.
Mauser Pistol. The Mauser Pistol is basically Germany's gift to the Wild West. Damage is only 1.4, which sounds weak, but with a 10-round magazine and a rapid fire rate of 3.1, it's less about power and more about volume. When this thing goes off, it feels like you're emptying a box of fireworks in someone's direction. Great for close-range chaos, especially when you're surrounded. Accuracy isn't bad either, which helps when you're spraying bullets like free samples. You'll unlock it after That's Murphy Country, or you can snag one during missions. Bronte literally throws one at John in Revenge is a Dish Best Eaten. Classy move. In real life, the Mauser C96 was one of the first successful semi-automatic pistols, and it made waves in Europe for its futuristic design. In RDR2, it feels like cheating in a revolver duel. At $250, it's pricey, but it makes Arthur feel like he's holding a mini machine gun.
Navy Revolver. Now this is a fancy one, the Navy Revolver. 6 shots, 2.1 damage, and accuracy sitting at 2.9. This revolver is like the gentleman outlaw's choice. Deadly, reliable, and expensive as hell at $275. It's a single-action revolver, which means you'll cock it every time. But that's part of the charm. Slow, steady, and devastating. The in-game description really sells it. A .36 caliber ball flying at 1,000 feet per second. That's enough to remind any poor soul that they should have stayed home. In real life, specifically the 1851 Navy model, were iconic sidearms, used in the Civil War. In-game, it doesn't unlock through missions. You want it anytime, just pay the man at the gunsmith. The M1899 Pistol.
The most modern sidearm you'll ever see in RDR2. 8 rounds in the mag, damage at 1.5, and accuracy pushing 3.2. It's quick, it's slick, and it reloads faster than Arthur can roll a cigarette. But you can get it everywhere. You'll only find it in Saint-Denis. It unlocks after the Battle of Shady Belle, or you can loot one from rustlers during the Go Rustling activity.
Elephant Rifle. The most expensive gun in the game, the Elephant Rifle, the crown jewel, $580. That's not a gun purchase, that's a mortgage. But when you fire it, it doesn't feel like a rifle. It feels like Arthur just lugged a cannon out of Fort Mercer. The stopping power is absurd. One shot and pretty much anything. NPC, bounty hunter, or unlucky grizzly is gone. But it only holds 2 rounds. Ammo is crazy expensive. The recoil kicks like a mule on moonshine. And if you're thinking about hunting regular animals with it, forget it. You'll turn that perfect pelt into confetti. This beast is meant for legendary animals and those rare, I want to delete something from existence moments. In real life, elephant rifles were exactly that. Designed for big game hunting in Africa and India. Powerful enough to drop an elephant, yes. Practical for shooting a raccoon? Absolutely not. At $580 or 24 gold bars and online, it's more of a flex than a smart investment. But if you've ever wanted to fire a gun that makes the screen shake and your neighbors look concerned, this is the one.